He was just the best friggin' guy, man.
A really friendly, outgoing young adult.
He was just a bright, shining star from the very beginning.
Reid Huffman spent the last minute of his life unaware.
Yes, I'm really, really mad.
Unaware of the fact that the rest of his life would be measured in seconds.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Halfway across Federal, he leaned into a southbound lane. The first hit.
Nausea. Just a feeling of, sick to my stomach.
The driver of that car stopped, tried to help, and then jumped out of the way shortly before a northbound car ensured Reid's fate. The second hit.
He always had the best friggin' jokes. You could tell him anything.
Friends like Joshua Shepard knew Reid through the public service group AmeriCorps.
You can't help but get close to people, man.
AmeriCorps' campus sits on the western side of Federal Boulevard.
You never want to be near somewhere where someone dies. Yep.
Connie Griffith watched Reid die here and compared the scene in front of her apartment to a never-ending and dangerous game of chance.
They need some kind of traffic control so they can push a button and get across the street safe.
No other road in Denver, according to our data, has experienced more hit and runs than Federal Boulevard. 306 this year alone. Most were minor, but our count shows 32 injuries, making it the most dangerous road for hit and runs in the city. No need to tell that to the family of an 11-year-old who tried to cross Federal near Colfax in February.
My nephew got hit by a car and they left him there. And I just don't know why. You could just hurt somebody and leave them.
11-year-old Mikey Espinoza met friends that night, went to a nearby Denny's, and crossed in a spot without a crosswalk.
It's gonna hurt us forever.
Who does this? Who hits a kid and leaves the scene?
A monster.
The driver, a 21-year-old, hit 60 miles an hour while trying to race another car, right before his car hit Mikey. Months later, Oswaldo Lopez received 6 years in prison. In April,
so this has become a very dangerous area.
Denver police returned to the spot of the death of AmeriCorps member Reid Huffman.
We have a lot of kids that have to get across the street.
Our data found 60% of all people who died in hit and runs were pedestrians.
And it's a recipe for danger.
And half of those pedestrians were at least partially to blame for their own deaths.
It's a very important message.
Meaning, had the driver stopped, he or she might not have even received a traffic ticket. It's why, on this day,
$95 for crossing the street. You see that?
Denver police wrote at least a dozen jaywalking tickets.
We grown, man. We know how to cross the street.
Yet, hours after the police operation, we returned and saw it happening all over again. Which brought us back to what Joshua Shepard, Reid Huffman's friend, told us on our very first day on Federal.
If there had been a crosswalk here, he wouldn't have died.
A half-mile stretch of the most dangerous road in the city sits next to a campus housing and educating hundreds. CDOT manages the road. A spokesperson says even a simple crosswalk remains months away.
Nobody gives a Nobody cares.
2 months ago, another AmeriCorps member died in roughly this same spot. Not a hit and run, but a death nonetheless.
He came here to, as we like to say, to get things done.
Shortly after, Reid Huffman's family started a petition begging the state to speed things up.
It doesn't always feel real. You think that you're just going to see them.
More than 2,200 have signed on so far.
Just a crosswalk with a stop sign. He wouldn't have died.